Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And of course, here's your meme of the day, brought to you by 5mind.com. Okay, so there it is. We've got the final ruling here. The Supreme Court of the United States officially upholds the Texas redistricting map, meaning Governor Greg Abbott's big, beautiful Texas map is now legally confirmed. It's now locked in for the 2026 midterms. And that, of course, is fantastic considering we're in an ongoing map and redistricting war. Well, this now adds 5 new Republican seats on the board, but arguably the most interesting element of this new Texas redistricting map is that actually it's kind of clipping the wings of one of the highest flying New Age Democrats. That's Jasmine Crockett. Under this new map, her old district, the district she currently represents in Congress, well, it's now essentially been completely carved out, and so I guess you could say that SCOTUS just ended Jasmine Crockett's career. Her congressional seat no longer exists, but of course I feel like this is probably not the last time we're going to see little Jasmine Crockett. Anyways, let me update you guys on everything that's going on, and of course, let's talk about the political implications of it all. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this news segment. Here's what just happened.
Win for Texas. The Supreme Court allows the Lone Star State to use the Trump-backed congressional map in its midterm elections. Governor Greg Abbott writing this: Texas is officially and legally more red. This is a victory for Texas voters, for common sense, and for the U.S. Constitution. They could get up to 5 seats, in theory. Let's bring in Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. Greg, did the Supreme Court make the right decision?
Oh, I think they did, Brian, because there was little credible evidence that Texas had actually redrawn their congressional map based on race, which obviously would be a civil rights violation. And the ruling is consistent with what the high court said in 2019. We will not intervene in cases of political partisan gerrymandering, only in cases where, states have conjured up district boundaries for largely racial reasons that are discriminatory. And in fact, there was evidence that the previous map was racially motivated and that the new map corrected that constitutional defect.
All right, so now following this decision, Jasmine Crockett is done in her current form as we know it. Her district that she turned into her little TikTok theater center, well, it's officially come to an end. And the map is now being redesigned so that she's no longer walking into an automatic re-election. As we know, Jasmine Crockett represented what I like to call a DEI district. She was representing a racially gerrymandered district under the Voting Rights Act, and Texas was basically getting rid of these districts, and that's why they were being challenged in court, because they were being told that their redistricting was racist, but actually what they were really doing was undoing the racist gerrymandering, and the political casualty is now Jasmine Crockett, and I got to admit, I'm not exactly happy about it. You're seeing all over social media, people are celebrating. Jasmine Crockett gets owned. Her seat is gone. But I'll be honest with you, from a purely strategic standpoint, I think it's probably one of the worst things that could possibly happen to the GOP. From an entertainment standpoint, it's certainly fun, but life is not all about fun and games. And right now, I gotta tell you, we cannot afford to lose someone like Jasmine Crockett, because she is one of the best things that has ever happened to the GOP in decades. And we saw all these imbeciles on the left uplifting her, celebrating her, as if she was some sort of transformational, generational talent. She was the next Kamala Harris. I mean, in many ways, she really was like Kamala Harris, somebody who had really, frankly, no position in any leadership position whatsoever. Yet they uplifted her, and they were even arguing that she was the new face of the party. You heard it everywhere from the activist Democrat base. These constant claims that Jasmine Crockett's exactly what we need in these trying times. Jasmine Crockett's a real fighter. And of course, Jasmine herself was playing directly into that. She kind of developed the strategy, it seems like. This new age Democrat strategy that Gavin Newsom even tried emulating. But while it works with their base, I don't think it works so well with, regular people without blue hair and septum rings, people with brains, eyeballs, and ears. Because while the left sees Jasmine Crockett as an incredible tough fighter and brilliant legal mind, we see her for exactly what she is. She's a vulgar, appealing to the lowest common denominator, ghetto panderer. This whole fake ghetto queen persona, which honestly at this point, considering the absolutely insane low IQ that she says. At this point, I don't even know if it's really an act anymore. But anyways, the point is pretty simple here. She's an utter frickin' embarrassment. I mean, here she is just the other day attempting to explain away her false accusation that Lee Zeldin and others took money from Jeffrey Epstein. She confused, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, the child human trafficker, with Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, just some random Jewish doctor.
You talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Do you want to correct the record on the people that you...
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein. When you make a donation, your picture is not there. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people. I literally had maybe 20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from...
I did not know.
A registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know. Number one, I made sure that I was clear that it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein.
And look at that. Is that not the biggest insult to your intelligence? She knows she's been caught. She knows she's dishonest, and yet she doubles down and attempts to come up with this ridiculously stupid, half-baked excuse and pivot. Jasmine Crockett thinks you're as dumb as she is. But while that might be true for most blue ain't on deep blue voters, I don't think that's true for most people. And so the last thing that we need is Jasmine Crockett being forced off the scene. But I don't know, something tells me that's probably not going to happen. I think they've raised her political stock to an extent where, to be honest, there's no putting that genie back in the bottle, especially with someone like Jasmine Crockett, who's so hell-bent on career advancement. You know, really actually very much like Kamala Harris. She's like the ghetto loud version of Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris with big butterfly eyelashes. Yeah, the reality is Kamala Harris led to Donald Trump winning the last election. The Democrats' inability to uplift the right proper talent, the constant internal deep blue pandering that forces the party into these ridiculous extremes, it's the biggest detriment that they have. They cannot uplift the right talent. And trust me when I tell you, there are many Democrats out there that could have easily beat Donald Trump in the last election. They could have done it. But the way their party is structured, they reward the biggest idiots and the biggest grifters. And so no, I'm not going to celebrate the Democrats' biggest idiot and biggest grifter losing her seat. No, I think it's a bad thing. I'm hearing talks that she's now apparently trying to challenge Beto O'Rourke, possibly running for the Senate seat, or should I say notorious loser Beto O'Rourke. But now the question is, of course, does Jasmine Crockett have what it takes to win a Senate seat? I don't know. Not so sure about that one. And so, you know, in a way that kind of highlights the issue. This is what Democrats are stuck with. But now, of course, moving on to the other element, following this big SCOTUS decision on the Texas redistricting map. This, of course, now a huge implication for 2026. This now gives the green light. It basically guarantees that these Republican redistricting maps will not be legally challenged. This was the strongest legal challenge that they had, the whole racism thing, pointing at the Voting Rights Act, but SCOTUS didn't bite. And so moving forward, we've got a bunch of Republican seats, making the 2026 midterms more of an uphill battle for Democrats. And keep in mind, this could very well be the first domino to fall. SCOTUS is about to hear oral arguments on the Voting Rights Act, and well, if they make the right constitutional decision there, the entire Democrat DEI power apparatus could freaking come to an end, and maybe Jasmine Crockett will be the first domino to fall. So we got some interesting developments. 2026 is not a done deal for the Democrats, especially if you look at their current polling data so far out from the election. And then on top of that, we got Jasmine Crockett currently in limbo, likely vying for the next seat, the next promotion. We'll have to see exactly what happens. We'll have to see whether Democrats throw her by the wayside, knowing she's a political liability, or if they've created too much of a big monster here. You know, maybe they've uplifted these characters a little bit too much and they're now more powerful than the party. I think that's also a possibility. But anyways, that's what's going on. I'll keep you guys updated on the next step. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.